Hello and welcome to a brand new season of the Weekly Song Podcast. Welcome to episode 169 and welcome to a slightly new format for the show. So you can tell it's a work in progress. We are still getting things up and running. There will be things that we need to sort of iron out over time, but let's have fun. So if no one's watched this show before or listened to this show before, basically the idea behind it is that we write a song each and then within a week and bring it to the podcast and sort of have a bit of a chat about it, perform it for you and do other various fun things. So first off, we should introduce ourselves. My name is Declan. Who are you?
My name is Roger and I am also a co-host of this show, which we've been doing for quite a while now.
Many seasons. I've forgotten how many.
I think this is season 19 now. So it's been going a long time. But I mean, forget about me. We have a special guest.
Who are you?
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Chris.
We've not met before, have we?
We haven't, no, this is the first time. In fact, these are the first words you've ever exchanged.
Yes, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I've heard all about you.
We're sorry we just threw you in the back of the van.
Yeah.
We just needed to kind of get you on site somewhat.
So yeah, we've had you on the show before, Chris. Several times.
Many moons, yeah. But yes.
And you're the first guest for our new video setup.
Booyah!
Which was an absolute breeze to set up, right?
Yeah.
We just plugged in everything and it took about 5 minutes.
No debates. We didn't have a whole thing where we were like, we can't get the cables to the keyboard. We can't plug this keyboard in. Like, we're coming up with these plans for the keyboard.
We totally didn't have a thing where common sense came in at the last minute and goes, why don't you just move the keyboard?
Yeah, we had a whole keyboard corner. Keyboard corner was the thing for a while, and it was a good concept.
Keyboard corner lives in my heart.
R.I.P. keyboard corner. So now we just have the keyboard nearby.
Hi, keyboard.
But yeah, so we've done the show, just as a recap thing, we've done the show for a long time. It's gone through loads of different iterations. We started off in person, didn't we?
Yes.
Writing a song every week and getting together at your place. Back at your hometown.
Many moons ago.
And then during
the deepest, darkest Cold War.
Oh yeah, man. And then during COVID, we did the whole Zoom thing, and then we carried on doing that. And now we have a new place we can do it. So here we are with 3 fresh new songs. And yeah, I'm excited. Although I was nervous to start off with doing it again this time because this has been the longest gap between writing for me. How's it been for you guys? Have you had quite a gap between like since the last time you wrote a song, or?
Yes, is the short answer. Yes.
Yeah.
That is I have barely. COVID stopped me writing a lot, and lots of other things happened in my life, and I stopped writing a lot. And this is a really, really good excuse for me to start writing again.
Same.
So I'm very grateful.
And it's there's no time like the present. I feel like I wouldn't have done it because I've just moved house. I wouldn't have done it this week if I didn't
have some kind of incentive.
Accountability and incentive. Yeah. And I had the nerves. What about you?
Yes, I view writing as an existential challenge every single time I start, and this is true this time. So yes, fun times.
So it's been kind of like a tradition on the show that whoever is the guest, if they fancy it, goes first and plays their song for us first. So if you fancy, Chris, let us know what your song's called and then we'll have a listen.
I haven't named it. I didn't think of that.
Oh really?
Oh,
okay, that's
yeah.
It's an untitled.
So a little bit of a live moment here on the show.
Or is there a title that's
Do you remember before I named it Piano Noodle 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 Noodle?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I did later on change the name
out
to
on
a limb. Down a limb.
Which is on his record.
Maybe I'll give it a project name when I remember the lyrics.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Maybe I'll give it a project name after I've sung it.
Absolutely.
Maybe
cool.
you can help me give it a project name.
Yeah, okay.
We can have a live vote of consensus
we'll
in the
listen
studio.
to the lyrics and we'll see what we think. By the way, you have music online as well, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. My name is Lunacci.
Hello, Lunacci.
Hello. And it's spelt really weird. It's like Lunacci, but it's pronounced Lunacci. But some people pronounce it Lunacci or Lunacci, but it's Lunacci.
Not us. We say Lunacci.
Yeah, you know.
We're OGs.
You have to.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I'll throw this keyboard at a camera.
Please don't do that, Lunacci. I mean, I'm
Not keyboard corner.
Lunacci. Okay, so I'll sing a song.
Please do, yeah.
Okay.
Drag this heavy stone of a door across my cave. Alone, how should I behave? Throw my socks into a smelly bowl, drape myself across this lounge wall, whilst inside I peek into my mind. What I find is mostly thoughts of microphones and trains and rockets and sounds and bills I haven't paid. But worry, it can wait. Please just let me concentrate. Way down. Heart set to the sky, eyes unto the ground. Tell myself I tried, but watch me as I lie. I'm way down. It's not that I'm sad. In fact, most of the time you'll find that I'm quite glad. It's just I've lost something that I know I once had. I'd like to find it again if I can. Try to write without the words to say. Emptiness once again portrayed. 'Cause I'm way down. Heart set to the sky, eyes unto the ground. Tell myself I tried, but watch me as I lie. I'm way down. I'm way down.
Very cozy.
Really great. Really, really great.
Thank you.
I mean, I like a lot of your other songs I've heard. It goes in so many different directions.
It's the classic Chris multi-part suite.
Multi-part sweet.
That's so cool.
A sweet and sour sweet.
It's brilliant. It's really great. I like that it's really dynamically different too. Like you got moments where there's really like a few notes going on, and then there's other moments where you are really kind of hammering the keys. And I mean, I could go on, but yeah,
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you, Roger.
Yeah.
I would do more hammering, but A, it's quite late, and B, I didn't realise I hadn't quite got the space down the piano.
Oh,
and I was
no.
sort of nervously
This
looking
is why
over
we
here.
need keyboard corner.
Keyboard
Oh,
corner.
the concept is still good. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I think there'll be sort of like something with each of our performances, because this is all very kind of a last minute work in progress sort of a setup and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
As you can see.
But so's the
from
song
side.
itself. It's the whole thing. It's like that's the whole vibe of it, isn't it?
Right.
In terms of the song.
I
Like,
always heard that in the lyrics. I think sorry to cut you off, but is that the case or?
in terms of the lyrics of work in progress.
Yeah, no, the lyrics are about that.
That's
almost.
exactly what the song's about. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about not knowing what to write about and having this whole weight of like just there's a lot of reasons why I've not been writing, and the song is about trying to explain that a little bit. But didn't actually end up saying anything, which is also what the song's about. It's the song. It says I'm not really saying anything. It's about struggling to write, really, and yeah, just talking about what that kind of weight is. And it's not that I'm sad, but it's just that I feel there's this burden around me with songwriting, and this is kind of a way of writing about that. But I've written about it many times. And
this isn't your first.
It's not my new
Right.
I'm struggling to write or be a person song. So yeah, I don't know, which is kind of yeah. So that's that.
Well, there's some great bits in there. One thing I do love is you do have that sneaky little F sharp diminish down to the F bit, like that's.
Yes.
Which one's that? Is that the F sharp? Was that when I was up here?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I tried to switch it up a little bit each time. So the first time,
Because I noticed it goes to a major at the end, F sharp major to a.
yes,
F
it
major.
does. Yeah, the second verse. Yeah. I tried to snuck it in a few times because it also works as the D. Kind of works as the D
Because
major.
it's almost like you're doing the seventh on top of it.
Yeah, or the third. Yeah, the third of the D major.
Do you write mostly on piano when you?
Well,
'Cause I know you do
don't
guitar
write
as
that much
well.
anymore, but
Right.
but I suppose
There's occasions where you do.
well, this is one of the reasons I've got this burden with writing is because for those of you that don't know, I now live in a van, and one of the added problems to writing for this week was that I don't have any instruments with me. The only instrument I had with me was a MIDI keyboard, and A, it's buried deep in the van, so every time you want to play it, you have to whip it out and get it all out. And B, my sustain pedal didn't work, so I had to write a song that was like I was able to write without a sustain pedal within a limited tiny space. It was just bonkers. The whole thing was just really hard.
Which I suppose it explains why you've got those like repeated notes in
Yes.
there, like
Yeah.
whale.
Like you're making your own sustain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you can either try and hold the fingers down or just sort of like.
No, it's really cool. Yeah, so I noticed with your songs, generally speaking, you have like a lot of different sections to them. Like, where do you think that comes from? Like, what are the influences that go into that, or like the thinking?
I get really bored very easily, and that's one of the things I hate about the song I've just written is the melody. I hate the melody in it, but that's kind of the point. So sorry to go back to what you were saying. I get bored, so I try and shift it up. And it was a trick you taught me years ago. Was if you want to, and I didn't do it in this, but if you said to me, if you want to. If you get bored during a song and you want to create some variety, just change it to 3/4. Just put it into a waltz.
That sounds like some very Roger.
It's a great trick. It's a really good trick. So I always try and shift around the time signatures. I didn't do it in this, but yeah, that's a good
Well, you
trick.
get triple feel like dun 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 dun.
True. Yeah. I guess I do that. I think in
like
this
12/8,
one,
isn't
I think maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm not very good at measuring time signatures. I think in this one I more played around with the chords more. Each time I tried a slightly different variation of the chord. Was the plan for this one rather than timing.
So with the kind of like short span of attention sort of thing, because I have that as well. Is it like you kind of like you get to the end of a section, you're like, well, I want to go in a different direction now. Like, let's go somewhere else with this.
Yeah, I think I literally just think, well, that's not very creative, you know. Like I'm just sort of like I get like through it, and I'm just sort of that's the same thing. I don't do the same thing because we're already so limited, in my opinion, of like using 12 notes, and there's only so many chords that harmonically fit within those, and we already feel so limited. So if you just repeating the same chords or the same timing or the same thing in the next verse, it's kind of to me it's kind of pointless. It's not enough just to change the lyrics for me. But I also have really high standards, which is another weight that goes into why I don't write that much at the moment. So there we go.
That would be a good title for the song, like Wait, WEIGHT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Because then it sort of links in even to that first line of like, I'll drag this stone across my door.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's because I live in a van and the door is very heavy. That's kind of what that's about.
I assumed it wasn't a literal stone. Like,
No. I was kind of like I was trying to think of like a good analogy for like how ridiculously hard it is to close that door. You have to really slam it.
So like you had like the thing about like the socks and stuff, like the balled up socks. So like they felt like the first verse or so was you kind of just describing the environment. You know,
Writing
sort of
the
thing.
song.
Here I am in this room.
Literally, yeah. Just took my socks off, closed the door, and went, well, still not writing.
Story of my life.
I love the implication that it's the fact that your socks were on that was the thing that was stopping you. Like, I've tried everything else.
Well, I just took them off. You know, it's just what I was like. Well, what have I done? You know, it's like there's the socks I just took off. Like one of the things I'm trying to do is just just write, just like do what is, you know, even if you think it's weird, it's just to do it because that's just how you start a song. And you can always change it later on, you know.
Was this like your first sit down, or were there other times you sat down at the keyboard and you were like, I just can't get anything?
This was the second sit down.
Right.
This was the second sit down. The day before I went in and sat down, I was like, oh, this sounds great. Roger and Declan, love this. Listen back to it and I was like, no.
Man.
No.
I'm sure we'll get to it later. I had that with mine too, so you're not alone in that boat. Of just like, you get the first one, and often isn't that thing, you go up that next morning and you go, oh man, it was better last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somehow the idea has devolved over the course of the evening.
I enjoyed it more yesterday.
Yeah. That's awesome. Really
There's one thing I really don't like about this song, and that's the melody. I really hate the melody because the melody is pretty much all in A. Most of the chords are based around A, and so the melody is like, I'm way down again. So it's pretty much all A. And I thought a lot about changing it, and in places I do change it a bit, but it's all annoying. It really annoys me how much but that's kind of the point, is you're kind of wade into that A, and there's very occasionally it lifts up a semitone, but generally it's sort of down on that A, which
I mean, to counter argument that, I do like the idea of like having like that single note and then like shifting the chords around it, so like there is the constant of your voice, and then the shifting problems of the world around
That's
around
nice.
that.
I like the meta thing. Yeah, I like the meta thing of the song being about the songwriting. And almost like the structure of the song.
Yeah.
Not to put it too on the nose, but I think it sounds like you wrote the song about the songwriting, and
Yes.
it's reflected even in the sound of it.
The sound
you know?
song, yeah. That's the idea. It's because you really want to lift that upper semitone when you're playing. You've got the way down. You want to go down because in the root, in the base of the chord is the
Either that would do like a big drop down, way down.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to give it a lift because the song's about being down. So you feel the pull, but you kind of don't want. So maybe I'll go down. Let's try that. So go like way down. That works.
That kind of works. I kind of like it.
that.
But then it also works, all in that same register.
Yeah, but it just annoys me at the same time. I'm just
So
annoying myself.
Can I just say, this is a slight first, and that we've had a little bit of live songwriting on the podcast for the first
That
time.
is true. Actually, that's never happened.
You hear it, a treasured moment.
And a potential title too of Way. Maybe.
Way,
Maybe.
yeah. I like the idea of way, like weighed down, but then weighed down
Then it
just
sort
on
of
the nose.
fits in with weight as well, like the
Weight,
other part. of it.
Way, the other part.
Or you can have it like The Way, as in like
the way.
like the middle way or something.
Or like you could have it as the way, as in the song is your curds and your voice is the way.
I don't know.
Sit on your tuffet.
I see if there are any lyrics here though. I don't know.
Sit on your tuffet.
Yeah, I often do that with lyrics where I just kind of like tough it. I often just kind of go through and I go, that's a phrase that'll do for a title.
Maybe I'll call it "Socks into a Smelly Ball."
That's more of an album or a tour title.
I don't know.
That's the next Lunacy piece. Socks in a smelly ball.
Declan, I mentioned trains and rockets.
I did appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Oh, I really like that section, by the way, where you just kind of like hold a chord and you just say a few things, and it goes beyond the length of the bar. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, thank you. I just thought it was a bit silly. What's in my head? Well, mostly rockets and planes. And
it feels like a bit of a
sounds.
live cabaret moment. It's like you could extend that, like, and it's about rockets and trains and
And washing machines,
Yeah.
and cars,
like,
and
yeah,
engines.
going infinitely. Like,
Just, it's true.
it's about the fact that I've done this joke for too long and no one really listening anymore. And the next.
So if I was to name it, I'd probably go for the heart set on the sky, eyes into the ground. But that's too long of a name, isn't it, for a song?
It feels like a Lunacy name, though.
It does. There's
Heart
nothing
set
wrong with a
on the
long name.
sky. Yeah, maybe not.
Nothing wrong with a long name. In fact, I mean, it reminds me of a Sufjan Stevens song, as your songs often do.
You do often say that.
And they have long titles.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's awesome.
And that with the socks and the smelly ball.
Yeah, I mean either way. I like the fact. In all seriousness, I love the fact that you kind of when you get to a point where like not a joke, but like some levity is like there, you kind of lean into it, which I really like. I want to do that.
Like they're
more.
really smelly socks.
I know, I can smell them right now.
Please take them off. You had the right idea in your van.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'd love to hear one of your guys' songs. Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely. Well, as you've seen, I've just appeared with a guitar here, so
Magical.
no time like the
The
present.
magic of the movies.
Well, gee, I've got a song.
I wonder who's going next.
Similarly to you, Chris, I didn't have like a title in mind until I finished the song. Looked through the lyrics and I was like, I think that looks like a title. So this one's called "Change My Mind." Hi, Declan. We're really close right now. So this one's called "Change My Mind," and it goes like this. Reach just as high as you can, even when you can't stand, enough to keep yourself upright today. They say that you never can tell until you do well, until you fall back down to earth again. But you know when it's a lie, from the millions of times you've tried, out of season and out of time, but you can't seem to change your mind. Why let a sleeping dog lie when you know he can't bite, when you know he just might change everything for you? So I take a look at my life, and I know it ain't right when I hold myself up next to you. But I know that it's a lie, from the millions of times I've tried, out of season and out of time, but I can't seem to change my mind. I've been hearing all my life things would be different had I tried, but the difference I seem to find is I'm unable to change my mind. There we go. Change my mind.
Oh yeah, cool.
Change my
I
mind.
quite like that.
Really nice.
Really nice. I was a bit confused here. So, peeking behind the camera a little bit, I can see what's written down on here.
Don't look at that.
I wasn't expecting that to stop unless you're going to like start up in a second and go like, and
It sounds like he might. He changed his mind.
There's another
You've been
verse
changing
here,
since
Chris.
Oh, there
There's
is.
another verse.
yeah.
I may as well just play it. So it would go, and then it would go back into after the chorus. Speak to whoever you can. Say I'm gonna go back. Say I'm gonna expand my chance at life again. And it's alright again. It's alright. Now I like the "it's alright" as an ending. I think that's kind of a weird, cool, like unresolved thing. But I hate the lyrics. I hate them.
Ending on "It's Alright."
Just the ending of like, it doesn't make any sense. Speak to whoever you can. Say I'm gonna go back. Say I'm gonna expand my chance at life again. And it's alright. It's alright. It's kind of, I wanted to end on a positive note, and that kind of sounds quasi-positive, but it's a bit like, what does it mean?
It just means let people into your life, doesn't it?
It's hard though. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, exactly. It does mean that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice song. So a lot of nice little moments on there. Just because I'm looking at the back of your guitar neck rather than the front.
Oh yeah.
There's that cool little descending pattern you do in the verse.
You'll never know. Yeah, so basically,
Anthony edits the footage.
this has been the Weekly Song Podcast. Alright. So it's basically, it's really simple. It's in G, and it goes G, up to the C, which is cowboy chords, you know, down to the G, and then I want to change it a little here, so I went D, D, but you've got like a kind of F sharp with the thumb on the bottom string.
Lovely. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And then you just take that bit, which is, and then you take that down a semitone.
Oh, lovely.
But then you've got these open.
So that's an F. Is that an F chord like that?
It's like
F
a diminished.
minor.
F minor.
F minor, is it? Well, I'm not playing the B. I've got an open B and an open D.
No, that's an F sharp, isn't it, in the bass? Is it?
No, F in the bass.
F
So
in the
you've
bass,
got
yeah.
D over
It's been a long
F
time
sharp.
since I played
So
guitar.
F, A flat and F again. I call that F minor, missing out the C.
Yeah. And then you walk up A minor to C. And then you're back to that. And other than that, that's the only like tricky songwriting bit in the whole song. But I like that it
It's
kind of
lovely,
it
though.
adds a bit of an angular feel to it, you know?
You're literally like doing a little walk along the guitar there. It's like a little stretch for your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got tiny hands too, so like I can do like not very much of stretching, so it's probably good for me.
No, it's cool. It's really lovely sound. As you said, it just gives it like a really nice. It's definitely a distinctive Roger Heathers move, and it's really lovely. It just
Thank
gives
you.
it a really nice little jingle.
I think. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say it's a strong chorus lyric as well, like resolves really nicely, but I can't seem to change my mind, that sort of thing.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean that. I don't know. I said to you like last week when we met up that.
This is a lie. We never meet up outside the podcast.
It's been a long time since I've seen you. That basically I felt like I had a lot to say, and like a lot's happened in my life, and I've changed, and we're in a new place now, and all this sort of stuff. Well, I'm in a new place, but like I've moved house, and anyway, so a lot's happened, and you know, you sometimes you kind of reach that point. You go, I'm about to write a song. It's going to be about all those things in a really succinct, well-written way, and it just doesn't happen. You
It's
know?
like, oh wait, my emotions on this are complicated and don't all come out in one sitting.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll develop.
Did you get that thing where you start writing a song about one thing, and then you realise you're actually writing about a different thing? Was it that?
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, oftentimes for me, this is the tricky part. Is like I'll start with chords and a melody, and then I'll be thinking like, that's a cool melody, and it sounds like the lyric should be this, like this thing that sounds like it should be there. And then I'm like, reach just as high as you can. Like, what am I, S Club 7? Like, where do I go from that? What does that even mean? You know?
Well, you've got to climb every mountain higher, reach for the sky.
This is good. I need to do a rewrite. Oh no, that sounds too much like. That is S Club 7.
That way your dreams will all come true. Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah. So what made you choose those chords?
Simplicity. I knew that I'd be nervous to write, like having not written in a while. So I thought, let's start really simple. Let's start with something I could talk about easily, and just that's easy to play. You know, and like as I think I've gone through phases where I've tried to focus on like, oh, let's try and chuck in some chords I haven't added before. But I think for the first week of writing back, it's like just throwing in some simple stuff. You know.
So how did you find the walk down? How did you come up with that? How did that come to you?
Just, I know I like these chords.
Yeah.
They're just so cool.
That's
They're
Roger
so-
chords, yeah.
And they're just such like, they add in this weird flavour to songs. So I knew that, it was just instinctive, I think. I just knew that there was one of those there, and it matched that bass thing quite nicely. And that's kind of the point where I decided to like explore the song further. So then I kind of sat down. It took a while to get the lyrics right, but the music came pretty quick. And like you, I had a first sitting that didn't work out. I woke up the next morning, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Which was like, I had this thing that was like a funk thing.
Yeah, it's very funky, yeah. There's a song I'm thinking of that sounds
But it was just very like, it felt very teenage and like sort of like, yeah, rock
it's
and
quite
roll.
on the nose, isn't it?
It
I
is
like how you
very
play
on
like
the
that
nose.
funk riff and you go, yeah, this is teenage rock and roll.
This is like James Brown when he was a teenager. But yeah, that's pretty much all about the music of the song. I think lyrically, again, it wasn't anything like solid like I wanted it to be. I think the general thing is like, we all kind of try as hard as we can to kind of get somewhere in our lives, whether it's Times about jobs, our relationships, our aspirations, all that sort of thing. Sometimes it feels like you can't quite get to where you want to be, even though you try your hardest, which is like reach as high as you can. Even when you can't stand enough to keep yourself upright. So like, it's just about feeling weak, trying to like do your best, and then really the main obstacle in the chorus is like you can't seem to change your own mind, and that's like the biggest obstacle is sometimes yourself, I guess.
Can't seem to change.
So,
Yeah, because it's like that thing of like you give brilliant advice to other people, and then when it comes to your own problems, you go like, well, I don't know like how to deal with this. You've literally told 5 other people how to deal with this. Yeah, but it's different because it's me.
it's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
There's that classic thing of what like. Well, it's something I always tell people is what would you if you were telling this problem to a friend, what would you if a friend was telling you this problem that you just said, what would you say to them, and it helps you to address yourself, what you would do to yourself sometimes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So like if someone's got the problem,
Yeah,
you
so
you could journal it or something.
So if you were saying to me like, oh Chris, like I broke my knee today. I broke my knee today.
But it's all
That's
right.
a title. That's a title.
No,
Yeah.
and then I'd say, well, Roger, you know, because you were telling me you got this broken knee. Like, if I was telling you I had a broken knee, what would you say to me? And you'd be like, well, Chris,
You've got to get it checked
I'd
out.
go to the
hospital.
doctor.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to realise what you want, and sometimes it's nice to put it into that other perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why people are so important in our lives, our friends and everything, is like that different perspective. But
Yeah,
anyway,
for
it's a
sure.
whole different thing. But yeah, no, totally. I think that's a good way of doing it. And songwriting's a good way of getting that catharsis too. It's like, because it's kind of like journaling, really.
It's like journaling / therapy
Yeah.
for yourself.
But like-
Self-therapy.
But to a tune.
But to a tune, yeah. Happy tune.
Well, it's almost like I always have to think of like if you're writing about a problem that you're going through, and then you sort of end up changing it just enough so it doesn't directly apply to you anymore. It's like, okay, cool, I can explore this problem and learn nothing.
Well, that's the problem with it. There's no conclusions drawn from it.
No.
You're merely saying something.
Thank you for that comment you said just a moment ago.
Yes.
I'm sure nothing has changed since then. So what's your song this week? Your first song for this season? What's it called? How's it go?
My first song for this season is called Woven. This is going to go terribly wrong. It goes like this. I'm yours, do what you want. I never could say no to you. I dreamt about having you gone, but would I know what else to do? On my knees I am at your feet, I'm hoping you'll keep me right. On your knees and your evil deeds, you are woven into my life. You're mine to keep in control, but always seem to slip away. Turn me, swallow me whole, until I find all the right words to say. On my knees, I'm at your feet. I'm just hoping you'll keep me right. On my knees, oh yeah, even the deeds you are woven into my life. No, I'm never letting you go. I could not make this upon my own. I know if ever I'm letting you go, I could not make this on my own. On my knees I'm at your
Alright, so it's Woven, right? Was the
Yes.
title? That's really cool.
Yes,
really
that's
cool.
correct.
On so many levels.
Wow.
Okay, first of all, the riff is one
Which
of the best
riff?
riffs I've heard.
Which riff? There's like so many.
There are-
Oh, that one. Yeah.
There are only two.
Nah, it's cool, man.
Also, I have the advantage of like, we've never done this before, but I'm sat like, I basically am your left hand, I'm just watching your right hand. I'm like, this guy's a good guitarist.
That's a lie. But yeah, this one sort of came out of the rhythm, can you tell? But it started off like just like doing that in the staff room at work and thinking like, what would be a cool thing to sort of fit over that?
You had a guitar at work?
Yeah, just do you remember my old half-size one?
Oh, right, yeah, okay, wow.
That's become my travel guitar as it was meant to be.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
yeah, the sort of vibe I was thinking for in terms of sort of the tonal sense of it was kind of, are you aware of the Anderson .Paak song Who Are You?
No, I'm afraid not.
No. So it's kind of like this sort of like got that sort of like and it's like a slightly dark riff over it. So that's where that which is just like a power chord, augmenting it and then going up a diminished chord.
Ooh, that's nice.
So you started with the riff. You started with just noodling on the riff.
Oh yeah, I always start with the music. So started with that.
But it wasn't like you started with a chord and then found a riff within the chord. You found the riff and then found sort of chords around the riff.
Yeah, so that whole second verse with the was sort of after the fact, trying to come up with something different.
What am I playing?
What's the actual things I'm doing? So yeah, that was that, and then the chorus took a bit of a while to try and get. It was that.
I love the chorus.
That was difficult to try and find the right two chords because I think it originally started out like, which it works in its own way, but it's not quite the same as.
I think that's a common problem though, isn't it? When you find a good riff, it's like, well, what do I do for the chorus? Like, I've got a riff now. What do I do?
I often find that with riff-based songs, like as you kind of get into a cul-de-sac, but the chorus is lovely because it kind of it changes up to like this kind of dark kind of riff, like you said. It's almost like a light R&B type of thing.
Possibly, yes. I couldn't possibly comment, but it's again sort of trying to keep a similar rhythm, but like not the same. So that's why it goes that sort of stabby like. I'm almost getting vibes of like Maroon 5.
I was thinking Jack Johnson. It's very like probably because you're playing on the guitar, because it's very riffy and just a rhythmic feel. I don't know. It just sounds very that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I know that in your head, it's not acoustic guitar song, is it?
No.
It's like a full band.
I mean, this
choir.
Yeah. But it works so well on the acoustic.
It does,
I think.
yeah.
I think this part is probably the acoustic bit, but sort of. That part is probably, but like that is something else entirely. It has to be.
It does work well though. It does work well on the guitar. It's definitely a piece you can perform as it is.
Thank you.
Definitely, yeah.
The bridge is the weakest part because I just thought, right, I need something to bridge between two choruses, hence why it's called that. So it just ends up being like E major 7, D sharp minor, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, which is not very interesting. That bit's needs rewriting, but it's what I had at the time.
Interesting. It's interesting that you don't think it's not. Yeah, do you think it's not? You need to rewrite it because it wasn't interesting, because it's not as interesting as the other stuff, but it sounds good and the whole thing. So it's.
I think also it just needs a singer who can give it a bit more belly, and I'm not that particular singer. Like this is the annoying thing. I started writing the song. It's like I have not got the tone of voice to sort of bring out the best of this one.
Not to be contrary, but I'd say that your softer, sort of like more, soulful voice really suits it.
It's softer because we're doing this relatively late at night.
But it's all within your range. It's like works for sure.
It's
Yeah.
in my range because I wrote it.
Yeah, but you said you wouldn't find someone else to sing it, but
Thank you both of you. Please be quiet.
So what was next then?
So after that, I was just trying to get the vocal melody, which sort of just scatting the tune over it, which I ended up like. The reason that sort of first melody is kind of like stoppy started because it's a nightmare to try and sing over, particularly when it's like just going all the time with that.
yeah.
the I'm yours, I'll do what you want sort of came out of like when you sort of get the lyrics out of scatty, like it begins to sound like something. And in that case it's like, okay, I don't think this fits, but let's go with it because it's Saturday and I have nothing else. And then it turned into being another song about the big sad. That sort of voice in your head that sort of says, you don't want to do that. Come on, stay over here. Stay in your safe thoughts. We don't want to learn anything new.
Learning is not good.
It's not what life's about.
You don't want to have new experiences and become a better person. No, just stay here. Stay over here.
Safe security.
Yeah.
So the chorus was a bit of a tricky one to sort of try and find the right intro for it because, I was debating just keeping those as just pure vocalizations and having one line until I stumbled upon the on my knees I am at your feet. It's just like, oh yeah, no, that's it now. That fits. That's good. And it's also another sort of thing that I've done before of like it's just all my tricks this song of when you have like a personifying sort of the dark thoughts of your head. So talking about it as if like it's a person that I am sort of quite familiar with, and familiar enough to be on my knees begging at them, just let me be a decent person.
Yeah. So like this is you, like the lyrics is you trying to like kind of improve, like self-improve, but like pleading to someone else sort of thing.
It's more externalizing the faults in my own head and putting that onto someone else because self-improvement is for wusses.
You heard it here first, folks.
Not my actual views.
That's awesome though. So like it sounds like a few of the lyrics came at the same time as the music. Or the melodies, I should say.
Some of them sort of scattered out of the melodies, but like most of it was put on afterwards once the full thing had been sorted. As ever. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
There's not really much more to say about this one, other than I think the words need a rewrite to make them. I think the verses are weaker than the choruses, and that bridge is weaker than the rest of it. So I think it needs a bit of a rewrite, but it's one of those ones I like the musical elements of it. So I wonder what to do. I wonder what I'll do.
It sounds like we've all got songs that we're like all right with.
Somewhat, to a good level, yeah.
Yeah, but no one's like, I really don't like my song this week, but we're all like not quite happy with it. But we know that there's things we can and how to improve on if we had more time.
There's some special sauce in here somewhere. We just need to get it out.
But that's the nice thing about having because in a week, if you get something that you're like, it's got a structure, it's got melody, it's got lyrics, and I might do a rewrite at some point. But then you got this great workhorse to kind of go back to a month down the road, and you go, oh, now I can kind of see with a bit of distance that verse should be this or whatever.
Or the opposite of you go back to it down the line, you think, what on earth was I on about? That's fine.
Right, okay, yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
There is a lot of self-doubt in the week because we only finished writing these songs not very long ago,
About 7 days ago, more or less.
Pretty much, about a week ago, yeah. There's always still that self-doubt going in, I think, all three of our heads, and probably everyone watching and listening as well. It's just
hello to all of you at home.
It's just you haven't written in a while, I'm nervous to do it, you come up with something, and then there'll always be that self-doubt, but as you said earlier before we recorded, I think, it's just doing it. It's just kind of getting it done, that's the main thing.
Even while you're doing it, you're thinking, this isn't working, but I've got to do something.
Yes, that is the feeling.
At least you've done something then.
And then we get to this point where we go, well, actually, I want to work on it, but I've got something. So you got to push through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself doing taking this on further, producing it? Obviously, you said maybe a rewrite, but
I'm not sure. So I have ideas of where the texture should be on a lot of the stuff on this song, but I'm sort of still working on what those individual components should be. So I know there's an acoustic guitar in the chorus, I know there's something in the same sort of register for the main riff, I know there's probably going to be something fun in the bass, and very sparse sort of cool laid back drums, but I'm not entirely sure what form each of those elements takes.
Well, you got that guitar part, the kind of whole way through. You have a hi-hat beat like that, like an Anderson .Paak type thing, basically.
Yeah. I wonder if he's doing anything at the moment.
We'll get him on the show.
Yeah.
We'll get him on the show.
So, Mr. Paak, if you would care to write into weeklysongpodcast@gmail.com.
We'd be thrilled to have you. I'm sure you have nothing else, lined up with Bruno, another past guest. Oh, but that's awesome.
Was I not on that episode?
Okay, so we've listened to each other's songs. We've all brought songs to the table. This is the section where we talk about sort of stuff we've been listening to. Just generally something that's come on our radar. Chris, what have you been listening to lately?
Oh, why did you ask me first?
Or Declan, what have you been?
Oh no, why did you ask me first? The thing I've been listening to a lot recently, I haven't been listening to too much, but the thing for me, I don't know if this was the case last time, it's the Loyal Kana live record.
Oh yeah. Hey, show me some of that. That's awesome.
It's so good. I really like it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So that's been kind of heavy rotation for you.
Yes, it's one of the few things that has been in heavy rotation. Yeah, that's because I'm a big fanboy.
And Loyal kind of raps, right?
Yes, he does, yeah. So, Loyal Kana, if you would like to write into the weeklysongpodcast@gmail.com and we can book you on for next season.
Did you wink at him?
I'm not going to, am I?
Loyal's gonna be... He's gonna be flattered.
Yeah.
But that's like with an orchestra. It's kind of like would it be like Metallica's S&M or something?
So there are like strings on it, but there's also like a live band with like a guitar and like bass and drums and things like that, which is kind of cool because like how they achieve songs like Plastic live versus how they do it on the original recording is kind of interesting. And then the other thing I've listened to again recently is Queen, Night at the Opera.
A classic. My favourite Queen album, actually.
It's a good choice for a favourite Queen album.
Have you heard it, Chris? It's the one with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh well, then
It's obviously the big hit.
I've heard the hits, but then I've not heard the album in order. Yeah.
It's a cool album. It's like we call it like as if we came up with it, but it's like genre roulette. Like it changes genre like pretty much every song.
That sounds cool.
It starts with like this heavy attack on their manager. It then goes into like 1920 Seaside. Then goes into a car song, and then like a Motown song, skiffle, triple meter heavy metal, vaudeville, just heavy metal, beautiful love song. 1920s jazz, Bohemian Rhapsody, and then it finishes off with a guitar version of God Save the Queen.
Wasn't it like they're kind of like, okay, I'm not sure if our label is going to really go for this, so let's just do what we want.
They've been screwed over by the management, which is why the first song is called Death on Two Legs, dedicated to ... So yeah, that was the Do or Die album. That's how things like Bohemian Rhapsody came about, because it's just 3 songs that they wanted to do and just stitched them together. And now everyone thinks there's this grand meaning behind it, and it's just 3 bits.
It's got one of my favourite songs called Love of My Life. It's really nice. It's like a kind of guitar. Is it guitar or piano?
Live they did it as guitar, but it's a piano song on the record, and they have like harps on it and everything, and it's really quite beautiful.
It's great. It's so good.
What have you been listening to, Roger?
Have you heard of Todd Rundgren? He produced, Bad Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Bad Out of Hell by Meatloaf. He produced.
That's like Jason Derulo says his name in the songs.
Todd Rundgren.
My name is Meatloaf.
Well, he produced that, and he did like a lot of the guitar work on that. But he also had his own like solo career and stuff. And I've been listening to his second album a lot. It's called The Ballad of Todd Rundgren.
Okay.
And it's just like a lot of ballads. I mean, there's some rock on there too.
About
Todd Rundgren, basically. But like, it's cool because there's a few different songs on there where like he writes about like, he's got this song called The Range War, and The Range War is like about these 2, as far as I understand it, I haven't looked into it, but these 2 families who own like neighbouring farmland, and they're kind of like at odds with each other, and about how this young lad who's like one of the farmer's sons, he just wants to get out of there, which I just think is a really interesting like thing to write a song about.
It's a good topic.
Instead, because I kind of go towards like, oh, this song's about me and what I'm feeling this week, whereas to kind of go, this is about a completely fictional thing. I quite like that as an approach. He does that really well. So
yeah, it's a whole other type of songwriting, really, isn't it?
But at the time, he was really like influenced by Carole King, and Carole King's amazing, and Laura Nyro and like kind of those piano songstresses. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of stuff in that vein, which is like, I don't know. I feel like it's like my favorite type of music. That early 70s, someone at a piano,
singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you've not done a record like that.
Maybe I should.
Maybe that's the next one, next week's song.
If Anderson .Paak can join us, who else did you say? Oh yeah, Loyal Kano join us. He can help me with my 70s acoustic songwriter album. I'm sure those are like the perfect people to help me.
I mean, have you heard Silk Sonic?
Well, I need some great drums and I need some great verses on them. You know what I mean? Wait, it's acoustic, it's songwriting. I shouldn't do that. Bad idea. Anyway, what about you, Chris? Anything been on your radar recently?
It's been interesting actually. I've been, because again in the van it's kind of like I'm still working out where that listening space is, because when I listen to music historically I've used it in the bath with a good set of speakers, or I like sit down and
I hope I'm not giving too much of your van life away, but I can confirm you do not have a bath.
I do not have a bath, it's true, yeah. And so I'm trying to work out where the listening space is in my new sort of way of living, and I finally got the stereo work. There wasn't a stereo working in there before, so I finally got the stereo working in there the past few weeks. And it's really nice to actually listen to music again. It's weird how much of that I haven't been doing. And I've been listening to some of my old songs off my iPod. It's got some of you guys' stuff coming on occasionally. But
I'm so sorry.
No, it's lovely. It's really nice. And and then recently I've been kind of listening to kind of like generic kind of folky pop stuff, like kind of independent songwriters sort of writing folky pop. It's called Wanderlust. It's kind of, it's like Alex Rainbird music on YouTube. It's just like,
familiar. I'll have to check it out.
It's really just like, I say it's generic, it's not at all, it's just I don't know what I'm listening to, which is rare for me. Usually I know exactly who I'm listening to, what I'm listening to. For me this is very generic because I just put on like an hour or two of this music and I don't actually know what it is I'm listening to. I just like it. Yeah. And it's often independent artists and it's good. It's just really good, yeah. It's not everyone's
just good.
But yeah, it's just very easy listening and really comforting music. And,
you do realise how much you miss it, don't you, when you haven't had a stereo for a while, and then you get one again and you go, oh my god, like it does refill you to some extent, doesn't it?
You're just like, oh, that's me there. This is what I want. Yeah.
Like it's
like I enjoy this.
Literally, Declan. Yeah.
Wait a second, it's all coming back to me. I like music.
Yeah, it's been a bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same kind of here, because this is a new place for me. I haven't set up like music listening stuff, and I do.
I mean, he's not even finished our logo, is he?
The Wii.
That is the most embarrassing thing, by the way. I'm so ashamed of that.
We haven't even commented on it.
Well, we kind of said like, oh look, we're unprepared, but like it is it's so unprepared. So like,
it's called the We Do Songs podcast. It's going to say.
Yeah.
The We Do music, right?
The We.
I mean, for people who are still like tuning in at this point, like basically this is so ad hoc and so I've just moved into this flat like this week, and I was like, hey guys, come over, we'll do a podcast, even though there's like boxes and shit like that I haven't unpacked and stuff, and so everything was so last minute and none of the mics worked, and I should have tested all this stuff, and then this was basically a perfect illustration of like what that looks like.
I mean, it's tremendously on brand for the show, so I'm quite happy.
It is. You have to laugh or else you'll cry.
Cry like keyboard corner.
But it's been really good to kind of like podcast again, and you've been awesome, Chris.
Thank you
as well, but you're like always here.
Awesome.
Oh, fine, take me for granted.
No, you're the best.
No, thanks for having me on, guys. It's really,
yeah,
really nice, because I just don't write. And this has made me write a song about not writing, so thank you.
Well, you're going to come on again then? You're going to come on more often?
Write a song about, well, now I've written a second song about not writing, yeah.
We're just comparing and contrasting over time.
Be interested to do like...
Still not writing, yeah.
The socks are still in a ball.
Yeah.
The same
I've given them a wash.
Alright, so before our cameras die, which, full disclosure, they will at some point soon. Well, mine will. Yours is good. I've got a shitty camera.
Poopy camera.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you everyone for listening to, I don't know, which camera do I look into?
Either. Like, that one's the one that's focusing on us, but you could be awkward and lean across.
I've got a lazy, like, cack eye, so if I just look in the middle, I'll look at both of them. That laugh was too strong, like, you know that's something I have that's like a defect. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Appreciate you tuning into the new season. Check out Chris's music at, where can we find your music, Chris?
I guess it's on Spotify actually. Yeah, if you go on there, I guess Lunacci spelled weirdly. It'll probably be in the.
Lunacci,
That's
That's
right?
correct.
You
Yeah.
have on your jacket the spelling, don't
I
you?
do. Yeah.
Ah,
Just zoom in.
Cameron,
right
can
now.
you zoom in on that?
Go. Zoom in. You, at home.
We got a team of like 10 people here.
You'll work it out.
Yeah, Lunacy, we'll link it in the show notes, so you can check out Chris's music in the show notes. Definitely worth a listen. Obviously, you can find Declan and I's music. We do a solo project.
A solo project? Is there something you want to tell me, Roger?
I've been meaning to say it. No, a collaborative project called Schnookums, and you can also find our individual solo music in the link in the bio, as you always can. Thank you for listening. Feel free to email the show at weeklysongpodcast@gmail.com with any songs that you've written in a week, any comments, any questions, anything that comes to mind. We always love our correspondence, and that is pretty much it for this week. Thank you for listening. Ta-ra!
Ta-ra. Once there was an idea
For Keyboard Corner.
it was gonna have such a long life.
But then we watched the Warner Brothers films.
And we decided that it wasn't right.
And then we waited all day and night.
Oh, keyboard corner.
You came and went so fast.
Don't you better know you're living in the past.
R.I.P. Keyboard Corner.
Keyboard corner.
Respect.
Really good.